Beloved ones, silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. When you sit quietly, you may think you are silent because your lips are closed, because no words are passing through your mouth. But the real silence begins only when the mind itself stops whispering. The greatest noise in your life is not the sound of traffic, not the chaos of people around you, it is the constant talking within. The endless arguments, the old memories, the worries of tomorrow, they form a storm inside your being. And yet, you have become so accustomed to this inner noise that you no longer notice it. You have lived with it as if it were your nature. But the truth is, this noise is not you. It is just the echo of all that you have borrowed from the world, the voices of your parents, your teachers, your society, your religions. They have all spoken inside you for so long that you have forgotten your own voice. Silence is the journey back to the voice that is truly yours. Or perhaps beyond all voice, into the space where no voice is needed. When the mind becomes still, something miraculous happens. You begin to see not with the eyes, but with the heart. You begin to hear not the sounds outside, but the harmony of existence itself. You begin to feel not emotions, but a vast presence that holds all emotions without being moved by them. In silence, you return to your original state, innocent, pure, unconditioned. The child you once were before you learned fear, before you were told what is right and wrong, before you were shaped by others' expectations. In silence, you are reborn not as someone new, but as what you have always been. Understand this. Silence is not an achievement. You cannot earn it through effort. You cannot force the mind to be silent, because that very effort is noise. True silence comes when you simply stop fighting with what is. Sit quietly and allow your thoughts to come and go. Do not resist them. Do not chase them. Just be the watcher. And slowly, you will notice the thoughts begin to lose their power. They pass like clouds in the sky, while you remain the open sky itself. That is silence. The silence of the sky that allows every cloud to pass yet remains untouched. The silence of the ocean that allows every wave to rise and fall yet stays infinite. This silence is not empty, it is full of presence. The West has misunderstood silence as emptiness. They think if there are no words, there is nothing. But the East has always known silence is fullness, not emptiness. It is so full that words are no longer necessary. It is overflowing with peace, awareness, joy. You see, when you are silent, you are not doing nothing, you are being everything. You are connected to the heartbeat of the universe. You become one with the rhythm of life. In that stillness, existence begins to speak to you, not in language, but in presence. And once you have tasted even a drop of that silence, you can never be the same again. You will laugh at your old self, how much energy you wasted worrying, thinking, running after illusions. You will see that all along, the door to peace was open inside you, but you were too busy knocking on the walls outside. Silence reveals truth, not because truth hides somewhere far away, but because your noise has been covering it. When the noise disappears, the truth is suddenly there, shining, simple, self-evident. And you wonder, was it always this close? Yes, beloved. It was always here, Only your thoughts were standing between you and your being. The power of silence is that it heals without words. It teaches without books. It guides without instructions. It is a master beyond all masters, because it is your own consciousness showing you the way. Do not think of silence as something boring. Only a restless mind calls silence boring. To the awakened heart, silence is the greatest music. It is the soundless song that keeps all creation alive. Even stars move in silence. Even the earth turns in silence. The greatest things in existence happen without noise. So, sit quietly each day, not to meditate as a practice, but to simply rest in yourself. Let your breathing slow down. Let your thoughts flow like a river passing by, and watch. Just watch. The moment you become the watcher, you are no longer the waves, you are the depth of the ocean itself. In that depth, fear dissolves, desire dissolves, time disappears, and what remains is you infinite, still pure. That is the power of silence, to bring you home, to free you from the prison of thought, to remind you that you are not the noise but the awareness within it. When you begin to live in silence, something subtle starts to happen around you. People will feel it even before you speak. Your presence becomes a message. Your stillness becomes a mirror. Without saying a single word, you begin to influence hearts. Because silence communicates on a frequency that words can never reach. Have you noticed how a newborn child affects a room? The child does nothing, yet everyone softens, slows down, begins to smile. Why? Because the child still lives close to silence. That same fragrance returns to you when you rediscover the silent space within. It is the scent of innocence, of being uncorrupted by thought. Silence makes you powerful, but not in the ordinary way. It is not the power to control. It is the power to understand. When you understand, control is no longer needed. When you are silent, life itself begins to cooperate with you. Your decisions become clear. Your timing becomes effortless. You start to move in harmony with existence rather than against it. And in that harmony, fear begins to vanish. Fear cannot exist in silence. Fear is born from the mind, from imagination, from what if. But in silence, there is no imagination, only reality. And reality is never as cruel as your thoughts about it. Reality simply is. Fear dies the moment you face life without commentary. A silent person is fearless, not because he is brave, but because he no longer carries the mind that invents fear. When you meet a tiger, the body may tremble, that is natural. But the mind that exaggerates the danger, that creates panic, that imagines death, that mind is absent. So the body acts wisely. It runs or stands still as needed. That is intelligence without fear, action without anxiety. The world teaches you to fill every space with sound, with information, with opinion. But truth enters only when you become empty, in silence. You start to hear what life has been whispering all along. The trees, the rivers, the stars, they have been speaking in silence since eternity. Only a noisy mind could not hear. You will find that the more silent you become, the more alive you are. Your senses sharpen, colors become brighter. Every small thing, a drop of water on a leaf, The laughter of a child, the sound of wind through the grass becomes sacred. You begin to live, truly live, not through the filters of thought, but through direct experience. And this direct experience is meditation. Meditation is not something you do. It is something you fall into when doing disappears. When you stop interfering, silence reveals itself. It was always there, like the sky behind the clouds. The mind asks, how long will it take to become silent? That question itself is noise. Silence is not in time. You can be silent this very moment. Just stop chasing silence. Stop trying to be anything. Simply be. When you rest in being, you realize the world was never against you. It was your restlessness that made it look so. Existence has been your friend all along, guiding you, waiting patiently for you to slow down enough to see its beauty. The most revolutionary act in today's world is to be silent. In a culture obsessed with talking, posting, arguing, proving, the silent one becomes a rebel. He refuses to participate in the madness of noise. He becomes a witness instead of a participant. And from that witnessing, a new kind of intelligence arises. An intelligence not borrowed from books or universities, but born from awareness itself. That intelligence will tell you when to speak and when to stay quiet. It will tell you when to move and when to wait. It will guide you without confusion. This is what people call intuition. But it is simply the flowering of silence. Silence is not against words. Silence gives birth to the right words. When a word arises out of silence, it has fragrance, it has weight, it carries truth. Such words can heal, can awaken, can transform. But words born from noise are empty shells, loud but dead. So, beloved ones, let silence be your foundation. Let every action grow from that soil. Work in silence, love in silence, even celebrate in silence. Because silence is not the opposite of sound. It is the background that makes sound meaningful. When you truly understand silence, you can live in the marketplace and remain untouched. You can be in the crowd yet alone. You can speak yet remain quiet inside. That is the ultimate mastery to carry silence wherever you go. And one day you will realize there was never any effort needed. You were silence itself pretending to be noise. You were the ocean pretending to be the wave. All you had to do was remember. Remember now. This very breath is sacred. This very moment is eternity. Close your eyes. Listen to the heartbeat of existence. Between two heartbeats, there is silence. Between two thoughts, there is silence. Enter there and you will find me. You will find yourself. You will find the whole universe resting in the same stillness. That is the power of silence. Let it be your teacher. Let it be your home. Let it be your life. There is a power in silence that words can never touch. When you begin to listen, truly listen, you will discover that silence is not empty. It is full of energy, full of wisdom, full of the presence of life itself. Most people are afraid of silence. They fill every moment with noise, with words, with endless distractions. They think if they keep talking, if they keep moving, they will not have to face themselves. But the truth is, you can only meet yourself in silence. When you sit alone and the noise of the world fades away, you begin to hear something deeper, the quiet heartbeat of existence. That soundless rhythm, that soft pulse of being is where all real strength is born. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness. It is not dead. It is alive. It breathes. It watches. It listens. In the space of silence, everything falls away. Your masks, your fears, your borrowed beliefs, they begin to dissolve. And what remains is the pure essence of who you are. To live in silence does not mean to escape the world. It means to move through the world with a still heart. You can walk in the marketplace. You can sit in traffic. You can face chaos and still remain utterly silent within. That inner silence is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is the greatest revolution. Because once you are silent, no one can control you. No noise from outside can disturb what is still inside. Look at the trees. They grow in silence. Look at the stars. They move in silence. The universe itself speaks through silence. Only man has forgotten how to be quiet. You chase after success, approval, money, power. But have you ever sat and simply listened to your own breath? Have you noticed that between every thought there is a small gap? That gap, that moment of nothingness, is the door to silence. Once you enter that door, life changes. You begin to see beauty everywhere, not because the world has changed, but because your perception has become pure. Your eyes are no longer filled with dust. Your heart is no longer crowded with noise. In silence, you do not need motivation. You become motivation. You do not need to search for peace. You are peace. You do not need to look for God. You are divine. All transformation begins in silence. All creativity is born from it. Even words come out of silence and return to it. If you want your actions to have power, first find silence within. When you act from silence, your words carry truth. When you speak from silence, people feel it. They may not understand it with their minds, but their hearts will recognize it. Silence is magnetic. It draws others without effort, because deep down, every human being is thirsty for peace. They are tired of the noise. They are tired of pretending. And when they sense silence in you, they feel a glimpse of freedom. So don't try to change the world with arguments or anger. Change yourself through silence, and the world around you will begin to change naturally. The mind is like a stone. It keeps moving. It keeps spinning. Past, future, doubt, fear, memory, desire. But the moment you sit quietly, you realize you are not the storm. You are the sky. The storm comes and goes. Clouds pass. Lightning flashes. But the sky remains untouched. That sky is your true self. Silent, vast, unbroken. When you discover this, you stop fighting with life. You stop trying to control. You stop shouting for meaning. And meaning begins to whisper to you in the silence. There is no need to become someone else. No need to run, to hide, to compare. Be still and you will see that you already are everything you've been searching for. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness even in a crowded marketplace. A silent person can hear the truth whispering inside. The mind always asks, "What should I do?" But silence asks nothing. It waits, and in that waiting, the right action appears on its own. You see, noise creates confusion. Silence creates direction. Noise wants to control the outcome. Silence allows life to unfold. The trees do not hurry to grow. The river does not rush to reach the sea. Yet everything happens perfectly in time, because existence is not impatient, only the human mind is. When you rest in silence, you fall back into the natural rhythm of existence. Then everything you do, even your smallest act, carries grace. You begin to walk, talk, and breathe in harmony with the universe itself. You stop chasing miracles because you realize you are one. The greatest power of silence is that it cannot be disturbed. You can disturb sound, you can disturb thought, but silence, true silence, remains untouched. Right? Sit quietly and let thoughts come and go. Don't fight them. Don't control them. Just watch. Soon you will notice the watcher is never disturbed. The waves may rise and fall, but the ocean beneath remains still. That ocean is your true nature, infinite, vast, unchanging. When you discover it, fear disappears. What can the world take from you when you realize you are everything? What can anyone give you when you already are whole? This realization is liberation, not something you reach after death, but something you awaken to now. Every time you close your eyes and return to the silence within, you come home. And in that homecoming, you meet yourself, the one you were before the noise of the world began. Silence is a mirror. It shows you exactly who you are without filters, without stories. That is why many people are afraid of it, because in silence the masks fall. But if you have the courage to look, you will see not darkness, but light. You will see how beautiful you are without all the pretending. You will see that you don't need to become anyone. You only need to remember who you already are. The world keeps teaching you to add more. More money, more knowledge, more fame, more success. But silence whispers, drop more. Drop the unnecessary. Drop the expectations. Drop the idea that you must prove something, because the moment you drop all that, you rise like a bird that finally realizes the cage was always open. You are not here to become extraordinary. You are here to become real, and only silence can reveal what is real. Silence is a mirror. It shows you exactly who you are without filters, without stories. That is why many people are afraid of it, because in silence the masks fall. But if you have the courage to look, you will see not darkness but light. You will see how beautiful you are without all the pretending. You will see that you don't need to become anyone. You only need to remember who you already are. The world keeps teaching you to add more. More money, more knowledge, more fame, more success. But silence whispers, drop more. Drop the unnecessary. Drop the expectations. Drop the idea that you must prove something. Because the moment you drop all that, you rise. Like a bird that finally realizes the cage was always open. You are not here to become extraordinary. You are here to become real, and only silence can reveal what is real. When you live from silence, you stop searching for happiness because you discover that peace is not the reward, it is the source. You stop waiting for the weekend because every day feels sacred. You stop needing applause because the silence inside already approves of you. Then success becomes effortless. Relationships become lighter. Decisions become clear because silence is the master key. It opens every door without force. In that silence, even your failures shine differently. You see that every mistake was also a teacher. Every fall was a hidden blessing. And gratitude begins to rise like fragrance from your being. You thank existence for everything, even for the storms, because they made your roots stronger. You realize peace is not found when life gets easier, but when you become deeper. So now, sit quietly again. Close your eyes. Feel your breath move in and out. Don't try to control it. Just feel it. Listen to the sound beneath all sounds. That humming presence, that still awareness is you. In that silence, you are not a body, not a name, not a story. You are simply existence watching itself dance in billions of forms. This is the ultimate power of silence. It dissolves the illusion of separation. You and the universe are not two. There was never a distance. Only the noise of thought created one. Now the noise is gone. You are here, whole, complete, silent. When you open your eyes, don't leave that silence behind. Carry it with you into your words, your work, your love, your laughter. Let silence become your foundation. Let it become your strength, because a life built on silence can never fall